Hello everyone, this is Nate Vitti too. I'm making this video to cover the House Concurrent Resolution 58. It's titled Denouncing the Horrors of Socialism. While the resolution correctly identifies historical atrocities committed by totalitarian regimes, it contains significant misinformation through the deliberate conflation of distinct economical and political systems. I urge you to examine the factual inaccuracies within the text and recognize the resolution true legislative purpose to delegitimize essential American social safety nets by associating them with foreign authoritarianism. Below is an analysis of the false premises contained in the resolution and verifiable truths that contradict them. Number one, the false conflation of authoritarianism and social democracy. False information in House Concurrent Resolution 58. The resolution broadly defines socialism by citing the crimes of Marxism, Leninism. That's a hard word to say. Leninist dictatorship. Example: the Soviet Union, Maoist China, and the Khmer Rouge, and asserts that socialism inevitably leads to famine and mass murder. It fails to distinguish between authoritarian command economies and democratic mixed economies. Here's the truth. Political science and economic definitions firmly distinguish between authoritarian socialism or communism. The social democracy or democratic socialism, the regime cited in the resolution, Stalin, Mao, Pol Pot, operated under totalitarian system, lacking democratic institution. In contrast, many contemporary nations operate with a mixed economies or social democracies, combining the Marxist markets with a robust social welfare system. Democracy institutes countries that often labeled as socialist in American politics discourse, such as Norway, Sweden, and Denmark, consistently rank those among the world's highest in liberal democracy and personal freedom indices. Coppedge, Coppedge et al. 2023. This nation utilizes social medicine, tuition-free education, and strong labor protections. These policies often decreed as socialist by the resolution proponents, yet they have not descended into totalitarianism described in the bill. The second false claim in House the resolution claims that social ideology necessitates a concentration of power that destroys economies and impoverishes citizens. The truth of this is data from the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, refutes the claim that socialized policies inevitably lead to ruin. The Nordic countries, which employ extensive social welfare state, high taxation, and high public spending, consist reporting higher gross domestic product, GDP, per capita, higher labor force participation, and lower poverty rate than mainly strictly market-oriented economies, OECD 2024. By ignoring the success of these mixed economies, House Concurrent Resolution 58 presents a falsified dichotomy that a nation must choose between unregulated capitalism or Soviet-style totalitarianism. This is a logic fallacy known as false dilemma. Third, true purpose of this bill, dismantling social safety nets. This is what it really is for. The true legislation intended in H.Con.Res 58 is not to condemn historical history, but to create a legislative predicated for dismantling domestic social programs. The purpose was laid out bare during the markup and voting process when the House majority rejected proposed amendments that would have clarified the definition of socialism, specifically an amendment that offered protections. Mark Takano, Democrat from California, sought to clarify the federal programs such as Social Security, Medicare, and Veterans Health Administration benefits do not constitute socialism. Under this resolution, House Committee on Rules 2025, by rejecting this amendment, the proponents of the bill explicitly refuse to protect those earned benefits and programs from being categorized along the crimes of Pol Pot and Stalin. This signals a clear and intent use of this sense of Congress to justify failure as hereditary, such as those proposed in the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, H.R. 1, by labeling opposition to cut support of socialism. Conclusion: H.Con.Res 58 utilizes historic tragedies as a political weapon and weaponizes the suffering of victims and communists to attack American domestic policies. I ask that you reject this resolution, false equivalencies, and protect the social safety net that millions of Americans rely upon. I also demand that this be added to the official congressional record. Sincerely, John, disabled Navy veteran. And you can find the whole story on my Substack and links to the references, or actually references list out. Some of them don't have links. You can find them with what's there. Yeah, we need to draw attention to this because that's exactly what this is doing. This is trying to remove the VA's benefits, trying to remove the Social Security benefits, trying to remove Medicare. They're trying to remove these programs. And people, MAGA, if you are on board with this, realize that you are cutting off your own face despite your nose. Because if you kill Social Security, which we've paid into all our lives, where is that money going to go? Are we going to get it back? No, we're not. So don't let them kill these programs. Veteran Administration, Veteran Health Administration and benefits. What is that? That's people who fought for the country, signed on the dotted line, laced up their boots, and went over to combat the enemies for whatever reason, for good, for bad, whichever side they were on. There are some contradictions of why we started in some conflicts and others. There's really no clear-cut winner. So if we don't want to lose Medicare, we don't want to lose Social Security, we don't want to lose the VA benefits, we need to speak out now and tell them that this is not the way to, this is not a valid resolution and needs to end. But on top of that, I still say we right, even though this has died 4 times in the past in the Senate. The House passes it and the Senate does not bring it to the floor or does not get out of committee. But I still think we should write them and demand that this be just totally removed, not even talked about, and we need to put the protections in for the social programs that are there, such as VA benefit, health care, Medicare, Social Security. Also, if you don't realize it, the police, the hospitals, and the medical staff are socialist programs if they're paid through Medicare or if they're handled through through other programs. And to say that these don't work, it's working in other countries, and don't believe the rhetoric that they're not. Don't believe the rhetoric of the wait times because they're just about the same as ours. Thank you for your time. Like, share, follow, and please remember you are loved no matter what. And demand this be opposed in Senate. Thank you very much.